Your virginal bride has returned. So I'm just gonna be sharing our wedding details with you and some Q&As that I got, you know, some of my favorite things, my regrets, because I actually have a lot of them. The last vlog, linked in the top line in the description, if you haven't already caught up, you saw sort of the lead up, the planning, the prep, quite a bit from my wedding day. But look, I'm here, I wanted to milk it, and I kind of just needed something easy to film, if I'm being honest, after 3 months of launching a business and planning a wedding in a very short space of time. I'm enjoying things again. Making the kind of video that I like to see. I haven't seen too many alternative weddings in Ireland. They are beginning to be more popular. I feel like in the States, like almost all weddings compared to an Irish wedding are kind of alternative weddings. In London, people do very creative weddings as well. I am going to have video examples, so yes, you can listen to this in the background. If you want to be really engaged and not miss anything on the screen, go grab a snack and just sit down and enjoy. Take the time out for yourself, grab your little coffee. I'd also like to preface by saying, when I say alternative wedding, it's alternative compared to the standard Irish wedding. If anyone is wondering why I'm calling it an alternative wedding, that's why. So I made a little list. I'll start with my favorite details, and I think the venue itself just really came through, and the whole thing was just like one of my favorite details. I think one of the reasons we went for that venue is because it just held its own so much in terms of the architecture, its beauty, its detail and its character. We have some beautiful vintage school desks that we usually use as altars. Restoration of that. But yeah, like people have endless type of way. Yeah, sure. I'm in love. I'm in love. The venue that we got married was actually in the town that we live in now, which I loved. It was so convenient. It is kind of a working art gallery, kind of run by the Arts Council, free to the public. It's been around since 1720. Bright, open, airy, character-filled space, and we picked it because we knew that we wouldn't need to fluff it up that much. Being right on the water, everyone said it literally felt like we were in Monaco or Venice or something. It was just us and the water, and it was just a calm, beautiful day. It did not feel like we were in a small seaside town in Cork. Even just the layout of the building, honestly, with it being the 3 rooms instead of just one big room, really ended up working out. Reasons that I'll probably go into in some of the other questions. That was one of my favorite parts of the day, was just how personal and intimate it felt. I think as a result of a lot of people helping us out with their time and their expertise, that I would recommend people doing is if you have a friend that's talented or that can do something and it fits what you're trying to accomplish, like involve them. My husband's dad married us. Obviously we've had a civil ceremony before where he was present, but he basically did like a little half-an-hour ceremony for us, and we kind of used it as his opportunity for kind of a speech weaved in as well, instead of doing a speech later on. Personal touch to the day, because everyone got to hear about our relationship developing through his eyes, and he is such a natural MC. He's kind of like done this stuff, you know, for the local community before. Just, it was like a no-brainer to ask him, and thankfully he said yes. Friend Mern actually sang my like walking down the aisle song. Really just wanted to walk down to the aisle in something that was quite Irish. I wanted something kind of Sean-osy, but a lot of Sean-O songs are like steeped in heartbreak and sadness, and we literally could not find one happy one. So I ended up choosing Roisin Dove. I could be his Roisin Dove for the day, and she sang it so beautifully. I kind of always imagined her singing whatever she would sing with no backing track. I wanted it to be like a little bit haunting, like not funeral haunting, but just very like pure. And I think when Irish people hear Irish music, it just emotionally kind of does something to your body. And to DJ later on in the night, so I felt like everyone had a stake in the wedding. That responsibility does sort of, it does end up being very fun, and I think that fun sort of permeated out. Why I decided to DJ as well is because I didn't really want to just be a bride that did nothing, even though I don't think you don't need to do anything on your wedding day. It's a stressful day enough. I gave myself that extra stress of doing a DJ set. that I barely practiced, and just add that sort of fun element of surprise that kind of no one knew about. I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I don't think I really started having fun until I did my DJ set, which honestly wasn't until I think 12:30 or 1 a.m. When I was behind those decks, I was on top of the world. I was like, okay, now I'm at my wedding. Took long enough, but we got there. Okay, top tips. Also, don't forget to get like something like this. I know some of them are more papery bags, but I just kept this because it's reusable. These are masks that you put on that just help protect your like dress when you're putting it on and helps you not get makeup on it. Top tip would be if your wedding is weather dependent. I don't know anyone that wouldn't want like nice weather, but I did pay 2 Etsy witches. I did explain in my last vlog that I believe it was the second one that pulled off the beautiful weekend that we got, because honestly, when I say it was raining so much of July and we had great weather here for at least 5 or 6 days, it was just worth the $10. So I'm going to leave my Etsy witch down below. Talk to your damn trees. Go outside and ask your plants and your trees to pull you in favors. Every single day for the week leading up to my wedding, I left little gifts for the birds and the animals as offerings. What I did, there's your witchy top tip. I feel like people loved about our wedding. The later start, I know I sure liked it. We started our kind of ceremony at 5, so we asked people to kind of come between like 4:15, 4:30, a bit more low-key, a bit more chill, and it was actually something that I picked up at Kelsey's wedding that we were at last year, and maybe that's more common in America, but in Ireland it's like usually a 1 p.m. wedding at the church. It could be there from anywhere between an hour to 2 hours, depending if the priest is an alcoholic or not. Go to a hotel and you stand around for what feels like hours until you're allowed into the main reception area, like where you have your dinner and dance floor and all of that. They go on until 4 a.m. and that's just not what I wanted. I don't have that kind of stamina. Irish people are known for their stamina and they can do it. Like I've done it myself. You're at a wedding, you just start plying yourself with drinks to find that 15th, 16th, 17th wind. I want people to feel like they had to just drag it out and stay until 4. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great crack, but I know I always like going home at around 2 or 3 and not feeling like I'm drinking just to stay up. We kind of wanted a shorter event that had a bit more of a faster pace. Something we really wanted was we didn't want like a sluggish energy. We wanted to keep things, you know, light on your feet, fun, and I don't know, I wanted that feeling of when you leave a party and you leave on a high. The later start meant not too much hanging around, which I think everyone appreciated. I think oddly enough, the water station, people really love a water station. Have really, really easily accessible water for your guests. We got these really big, like 8-liter little tap jars, and they're actually really cheap. Fill them with like lemons and oranges. We just bought loads and loads of filtered water. They like 65 at least liters were drank. So sad I don't have any photos of our water station because it was so cute. We had like 2 of those 8-liter taps and the tipple hangover defense supplements next to them. But we did handwritten notes for every single guest, which I think is such a good idea, because at weddings, and even from the few that I've been to, you can see that the bride and groom really are torn in a lot of different directions and feel, you know, that they have to spend time with everyone. And we just wanted to appreciate everyone that was coming. You know, people are coming down in cars and staying at hotels and, you know, doing the most. And it just added to the personal touches that we were trying to create in our day, and people loved them. Like, who doesn't love to read nice things about themselves? We had like a lovely table that was set up after the ceremony that had the cards for everyone with all their names on it. The intrigue, a little activity, which we try to weave in a lot of our day, like these little surprises to fill up that little bit of time, you know, as the food was coming out. Thank you cards. I just opted for like a single one instead of a folded card. And we just kind of tried to either include a nice memory or just a really nice way of saying thank you that didn't feel generic, just to try and personalize it as much as possible. Everyone liked them and they went down really well. Were we up the walls trying to write them all the week of our wedding? Yes, but we do not regret it at all. At weddings, at Irish weddings anyway, a lot of you're assigned to a table, and I know from experience, you don't know half the people at the table sometimes, and you're just spending all night doing small talk and screaming over the table for like the people that are across the way, and you kind of only get to know the person that's next to you, and that's exhausting. So we kind of try to create a day that's designing for me, and for me, not being stuck next to somebody at a table was way more fun, and sort of choosing my own adventure, choosing where I wanted to sit was way more fun. So after the ceremony, we had the ceremony room flipped into a lounge, like I mentioned in my last video, where we brought couches, rugs. You reused the seating from the ceremony and created like a speakeasy low lit lounge, so people could eat in there, where there were little tables and couches, or they could eat at a pod table or eat like outside like we did. Like basically my top table was this wall overlooking the water. So perfect for eating casually. Like everything was cut up, everything had a little sauce, almost like a deconstructed meal. So for example, if some people didn't eat meat, like there wasn't meat on their plate, they could like tuck into a bunch of crispy roasted potatoes and romesco, or the crudité and aioli, bruschetta, you know, there was like plenty to go around for all types of eaters. Whether you're a plain eater or not, you could kind of pick what you wanted and be full. And I loved how it looked. I thought it was the exact type of food that represented us, which is elevated but not pretentious, from the kind of restaurants that we like to eat at. Hard tuning out kind of opinions about the food. We kept it for a surprise for most people, but for our intimate like family and people we were getting opinions from, like they weren't convinced that the lamb would be a good option. Points we thought maybe the clams would be a bit too much for like the average eater, that they wouldn't like them. But everyone was trying a little bit of everything. Everyone was encouraging people to try stuff that they never had before, and everything looked beautiful. So the flow of plates like to where the people were at, and you could just enjoy it in your little nook wherever you wanted to be. People also loved like the separate rooms. I think quite traditionally, like you're usually all in one big hall room, or what's it called, like a function room. We only had a wedding because we stumbled upon this venue in our town, and it was, oh, I immediately saw the vision of the ceremony room here, transient kind of bar space in the middle, using the completely painted black room for the dancing areas, of not being locked in to listening to music that you don't want to listen to, being able to like go sit down if you just want to sit and talk. It made it really comfortable for the older people as well. Everyone had like an equal amount of time on the dance floor and in the lounge, and the rooms weren't too big that they felt like too empty. Just something that was unique to our venue. Beauty things that I did before the wedding, I didn't do too much. I didn't get any crazy facials, you know. I got my lash lift, I got my nails done. I think that I did treat myself too was I got 2 lymphatic drainage massages, which are just very, very gentle, light touch massages that help move fluid through your body on the month of my wedding. So I got one like 2 weeks before, and I got one 3 days before as well. You don't really want to do it too close to the actual day, because your body kind of can detox a lot of stuff. Some people feel really shitty after lymphatic massage because they are like getting rid of so much stuff. The Current Body LED mask or red light therapy, I feel like it made my skin so glowy. Honestly, I don't feel like my skin was glowy at all the day of my wedding. We will get into in the whole month lead up to the wedding, I feel like my skin was just extra glowy. They do give me a 10% off. It does kind of go up. Sometimes it's 15% with code TARMARS. It's the same as my Instagram handle name. It's just my YouTube channel, but with a Z on the end. A lot of brands that do LED masks, but they're not all created equally. Okay, my regrets list is pretty long. They wrote to me and asked me that they're afraid if their day is just going to be a blur, or they're going to get like swept up in it and not enjoy it. I will say that kind of happened to me. I wish I had written down a list of things to keep in mind. I don't know if again I was because I was tired. 2 days before the wedding, I did not sleep well at all, to be honest with you. Going back, I would have gotten something strong to knock me out, but nothing was putting me to sleep. And I'm somebody like, I really need my sleep, because I don't look good if I don't get enough sleep. Even though I didn't feel exhausted the morning of, I don't think I was thinking straight, because I just had such a, you know, I was cutting tablecloths at 11 p.m. the night before my wedding. Like, I was not okay. I had a great time. It was almost like I enjoyed everything from a wide lens and didn't sort of get to zoom in on any aspect. Like, even, you know, when the food was on the table, I never took more than a few seconds to really enjoy what I was looking at, or to enjoy all of the buckets of wine that we had, or the art that was on display. I was almost like too in the present with no forethought or thinking. I think my partner was a bit the same. We're just making sure we got around like talking to everyone and made sure people are okay, that we didn't really think about ourselves too much like on the day. Like one regret we both have is that we didn't eat our food together, which I know sounds mad. We shared dessert together, but we should have done, which is a pitfall that so many people getting married say, is that they don't enjoy the food at their wedding because they are torn in a lot of different directions. Like photos, or you see someone that you haven't spoken to and you're just very scatterbrained. So that was just something like no one really reminded us to do, and that's a big kind of regret that we have. And we're not really regretful people, so that killed us for a few days afterwards. We were like, why didn't we do that? Another thing is my scatterbrain. I didn't take a makeup bag with me proper. I did pack some makeup, but I should have packed like a bigger makeup bag. I only brought a lip liner and powder. The lip liner that I had just sharpened, mind you, as soon as I got to the venue, took off the lid, it just rolled off. So that kind of sent me into a bit of a panic. I was basically borrowing lip liners all evening. Also didn't do waterproof mascara, which was so dumb because after the speeches, my mascara ran up on my upper lid and I only went to the bathroom one time for some reason. I think my bodily functions just stopped working the entire night. I didn't go pee once the whole night, which was weird. Best makeup day I had. I also I started again with the scatterbrain thing. I did the same makeup I did, but I didn't use Fix Plus. I didn't use something to melt the makeup in, so I felt like my makeup was really matte. And I also just looked exhausted. Like I did not look my best. Just a top tip I would have as well is to don't place the expectation on yourself on your wedding day to look the best you've ever looked or perfect, because sometimes, you know, you go to all this faff to get your makeup and your hair done, and then you see a photo of yourself in slightly bad lighting and you're like, oh, there's beautiful photos of me that Anushka took, but there's also photos where I'm backlit and my under eyes look like I hadn't slept in a month. And because I do this all the time, I've taken 1,000,000,001 pictures of myself and I've had my picture taken so much doing what I do. I'm used to this. I'm used to taking 100 bad shots for one great photo. That's just how most people operate if you're not a model. None of my natural glow that I've been working so hard on, that was showing up all month, came through. Another regret is that I was definitely dehydrated. I think I was so busy the day before around doing things and then getting ready really quickly and heading to our welcome drinks and not getting back till 11. I barely drank water, and up until the wedding I had been drinking like almost 3 liters of water most days. Like I could feel it in my skin. Like my skin was like dry and dehydrated, and it's dumb. Don't do it. Also, don't care about water bloating you. It's much better to be hydrated, trust me. I also wish I asked somebody and given them the job that day of making sure I looked okay in terms of like my hair. Like there was a piece of hair that fell out that like kind of has annoyed me. I wish that that was a job that I had assigned to somebody. I wish I had, again, taken my makeup bag and done a touch-up at some point in the evening. You know what? I was having fun and my makeup reflected somebody that was having a good time. I also didn't eat enough. Again, I think, you know, I'd take 2 bites of something and then I'd be over here for a photo or excited for the food, and I barely got to eat any of it. Huge regret of mine. But again, it's a common pitfall that so many brides have brought up. 15-20 minutes where you don't care about talking to anyone and you and your partner can just be present and eat the food. So make note of it, put it on your checklist. Not having my phone on me. I am such a lover of capturing the details and the moments of things. I so regret not having my phone. As somebody that's very nostalgic and captures things through video, I wish again that I had gone around, because it would have given me a moment of presentness to actually have those zoomed in moments where I was enjoying everything, because that's just the lens that I view life through. I just really regret it, because I thought that those things that I appreciate would be things that would be caught or through other people's content, and like it wasn't, and I'll never get to see those little details again. So I was very annoyed that I didn't. Okay, now on to the Q&A portion. How did you decide on your ring? Was the wedding ring a hard decision? There wasn't much of a design process in our wedding rings. We just went to a goldsmith and got gold that we had melted down into a shape that we liked. I just wanted something that would match the shape of my engagement ring that would kind of fit it. I'll go back and get some tweaks, maybe get the edges rounded off a little bit, which are like 3 sapphires and then this soft pointed gold ring below to match it. Engagement ring is vintage as well, just like my wedding dress. I got it off Etsy, shout out Etsy. Was the lace on the side of your dress a smart fix by the tailor or an original feature? Loved. I love that you thought it may be original, but no, that little piece of lace that I added on each side was the alteration. Emergency. If you watch, I think 2 vlogs back now, I admitted to myself a month before my wedding that my dress was not going to fit. Chose the lace and the backing that we would put from just scraps that she had. Honestly did feel like part, like it was always part of the dress. So we added those basically so that my ass could get in the dress. It was a little thicker than a woman from the 1930s. The day of putting it on with my hair and makeup done, I shocked myself honestly, because I only tried the dress on once I got it back from alteration, so essentially one time. And like I went down, like my hair wasn't done, like I was feeling very nervous. Like I really do want to preserve it for like another 50 years if possible. It really end up being a budget, more affordable wedding. Yes. Did we end up spending more than we initially planned? Yes, but funnily enough, the budget that I had in my head that I said I do not want to spend any more than this actually did end up being our out-of-pocket cost. You have to front up a lot of money at the start for a wedding. That's one thing I will say. So that bit was not budget. That bit made me scared because people need to be paid for invoices, things like lighting, sound, all of that. The total cost minus the gifts, we actually did end up being in the budget, technically the typical Irish budget wedding figure. Got a lot of wedding for what we spent. That being said, did we pay in time and mental health? Absolutely. So some people are not willing to go to the lengths that we did in terms of organization, and I don't blame them at all. Like it was like a culture night with wedding stuff. So so many parts of it felt like you were at like a gig, or even when we were doing the speeches, like the speech room, it felt like we were at like a spoken word thing. And then the dance room actually felt like a club. Logistical scale, we had to take in everything into the venue. Every chair, napkin, fork, water, kitchen, like we set up a whole kitchen. Staff, every bucket, every tablecloth, you know, everything like that had to be brought in by us. Not for everyone. I don't want to encourage people to do it, although I do share these type of videos because I don't want people like me who felt like they would never be able to afford a wedding that they actually wanted to be disheartened. I think if you've got a really strong vision and your track record shows that you can do things that are hard and that you follow through, then I think it's absolutely worth it. But some people are idealistic also. We picked the venue because it felt like our dream venue and it was really, really cheap and we couldn't believe it. But then before we knew it, we were knee deep in all of the expenses that come with outfitting independently a venue. So it definitely had its advantages and disadvantages, but again, I never dreamed of my big day or a dream wedding or what that would be like, but we did achieve something that represents both of us. I think that was something that all our guests said, was it felt like you did it your way. Doing a city wedding, venue closes at 1 a.m. Did you have a cutoff? Did it kill the vibe? We technically had a 2 a.m. cutoff. 2 a.m. for me, again, it felt like the perfect cutoff point of like people can leave or they can stay out. And we ended up finishing up at about 2:30. And then like we had no after party planned and there was nowhere to go. Like the whole town shuts down pretty early. Sometimes you don't need to plan every detail. Like people will naturally filter and create crack. And I think you underestimate people's ability to do that sometimes, but always trust an Irish gang. Filtered out of the venue. Somehow we ended up down by the water with a bunch of wine bottles and it was perfect. Where was your second outfit from? Okay, it was a bit bougie getting a second outfit, but I did want something more comfortable to dance in and I didn't want to ruin the antique dress. So I wore this 2-piece and it was fab. It was so perfect. It fit me really well. The top did kind of stretch out a little bit as the night went on. Wait, it looked really good when I first got into it, and Anushka got this great photo of me. Got this set from Ownley, Aussie brand. Any honeymoon planned? Nothing yet. You know, I think the funds need to look a little bit healthier, but we're not in any rush. If anyone has any suggestions for really nice honeymoon ideas that they don't regret. Like, I don't think we're going to go like super luxury. Just a nice holiday, maybe in Europe somewhere would be nice. Really love to go to Mallorca. You know the kind of travel gal I am. I definitely love a little bit of like a bougie holiday. I need to go to the Maldives, you know. Definitely such thing as the wedding come down blues. Like the first day that we were both back at work after just having a few days off just for us, it was very much like, ooh. I think after launching Conscious Clarity and finally getting the wedding done, two things that have taken up so much of my headspace, then just have nothing, like no orientation of where to go from here. That's what we're here to figure out. Kind of, I've evened out now. I'm feeling a lot better and I'm just enjoying what my schedule used to be. Shout out to our sponsor Squarespace for sponsoring this wedding related Q&A. I used Squarespace for our wedding invite. I had all of the details about our wedding. That was a great little cost saving tip for us. Even if it's not wedding related, use Squarespace to create any type of website you need, whether it be a blog, an online store, portfolio site, or just somewhere where people can find you. Squarespace is designed to help the average person to be able to do this at home with their easy to use templates that are highly customizable. You can chop and change and move things around to suit your needs. A website with them has never been easier now that they have Design Intelligence, which is an AI tool. Honestly, you put in boop, 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 what kind of website you need using some of the prompts that they ask you, and your website is created in less than minutes. So I've been loving them and using them for years, and if now is the time where you feel like you might want to check them out, check out my no strings attached 2-week free trial for all of my audience. It's in the top line of the description, linked there, but you can also just type in squarespace.com/Tarmar and use the code Tarmar for 10% off all future billing. You know the drill. Also, if you've been here a few times and you haven't subscribed yet, please, what are you waiting for? I would love for you to stick around to any of my videos, so please hit that subscribe button and engage with this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it or learned anything. Comment your thoughts if you have any. So much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.